On one of the islands rests a partially collapsed stone tower. Inside is a small nest of leaves. Kator sends his aunt to investigate, thinking it might be disease-infested rats, but instead they find a raccoon. The ranger asks,
Does anyone have a problem with me killing this?
and Jack speaks up.
Yes, leave it be.
The elf nods, picks up his aunt, and exits the tower. Silentfi climbs up through the rubble of the staircase and finds a partially collapsed rotten wooden chest at the top, exposed to the elements. He smashes it open and takes its prizes, stowing them away before returning to the group. They see the water rippling and bubbling around the edges of the island and quickly abandon it. The island tips and sinks like a boat, with one end rising into the air. Silentfi examines the underside as it sinks. A skeleton, perhaps 100 feet tall, held together by dirt and vines, was the bottom of the floating island, and it seems the vines were holding it up and also moving it around. Kator closely watches the tower as it tilts sideways, more stones from the top tumbling over and splashing into the water. It sinks with the island, slipping below the surface. No sign of the raccoon. A waste of life and fur, but perhaps it will feed the fish. Conflicted between his urge to hunt and his pledge to save the realm, he takes solace in his loyalty to his friends and smiles. Seeing the stars in the evening sky, he realizes his mistake and apologizes to the pilgrims. They had been going south and should have stayed on the shore to go east. They race back to shore, seeing another small island sink itself on the way, and set up a campfire 100 yards from shore. Jack takes super-compressed food out of his bag of holding, and everyone eats their fill. Kator offers to take first watch and says he needs someone else to take the other watches. Silentfi and the boy volunteer. Near the end of Kator's shift, a vine slides out of the water and reaches toward the camp. Kator casts lightning arrow at the point where it touches the water. His arrow hits the vine with a shunk and explodes in a shower of electricity and sparks, illuminating the black sky and water. The vine flails and retracts back into the water quickly. Silentfi instructs the boy on how to patrol. His commands are like that of an army sergeant instructing a green recruit.
No breaks. Hold your pee until your watch has ended.
But that's not fair.
Your watch hasn't started yet. Better hurry and go pee now.
Oh, thank you, yes.
If you see anything or hear anything, what do you do?
Fight it.
No! You scream and you hit the cookpot with the stick. You call for help.
Oh, okay.
And don't stop marching and patrolling around the camp until your watch has ended.
But that's so long.
The boy pouts.
Do you know what guards do? They guard people. And you are going to guard us? You can't do that without patrolling.
The boy frowns.
Okay, I'll patrol.
The boy patrols, goose-stepping with a large wooden stick and the metal cookpot. When Silentfi relieves him as the sun rises, the boy collapses and throws his feet in the air. The ant resists being fed, trying to take food back to the hill instead of swallowing. Kator pets its antennae and carries it to the edge of the mountains, away from the sandy beach. He sets it down on the rocks and says,
Go home.
then gives it a small chunk of meat. It wanders around for a few minutes before finding a dry pathway up the rocks. Jack made several attempts to put shoes on the boy yesterday, but he kept throwing them away. At least they got him to wear pants, the pilgrims thought, as the boy slept and the others cooked and ate breakfast. When the boy was fully rested, they began their march east to the kingdom of giants. As the sun reaches its zenith, the pilgrims come across a boat half buried in the sand and try to dig it out. An ornate ivory seat is slotted into the boat, but is badly damaged. There is no trace of the contents of the boat, and as they dig, the hole fills with water that seeps through the sand. A thunderous crack turns their attention to the mountains. It came from a pathway through the crags and set a flock of bird flying away. They spend a few hours exploring the crags to find the source of the sound and come across the fresh corpse of a giant. His feet rest on the ground, his legs tower up the sides of the crag to where his shoulder and ribcage are wedged between the two sides of the crag. One arm hangs down, the other is nowhere to be seen. severed at the collarbone. Carrion birds and insects crawl over the corpse and gnaw at the flesh, maggots bursting through the skin in places. As the pilgrims are about to walk between the legs and pass by the corpse, Jack speaks up.
Protocol, we have to loot the corpse.
How are we going to be able to carry any loot he has?
He might have small things in his pockets.
Okay, but be careful.
Nix turns into a bird and flies up to scout. Kaitor and Silent Fee begin climbing the side of the crag. Nix lets out a loud squawk and flies down with ruffled feathers to Jack and Lionus. Giant hornets fiercely defend the midriff of the giant as they feast on the flesh. Silent Fee stealthily makes his way over to a pocket and finds the corpse of a child. He descends, but despite the bad news, Nix insists they try to pull down the pants to loot the other pocket. With some precision blasts of magic missile, Jack cuts holes through the immensely thick pants and ties ropes to the fabric. Nix turns into an elephant and grabs hold of the ropes, struggling at first, but giving into a charge that pulls the pants down to the giant's ankles. Nix turns back into a gnome and gazes up at the giant's crotch expectantly. Where the genitalia should be is a swarming pile of hornets and maggots, and a bloody opening that goes deeper into the corpse. Visibly upset, Nix joins the others in examining the second pocket. The squashed and splattered remains of a dead pig cover the inside of the pocket and the outside of a damaged cart. Silent Fee jumps into the muck and searches the cart to find 2 wooden crates. Jack and Kater help grab them to allow Silent Fee to crawl out of the pocket. Upon opening the crates, they find a fancy goblet, some cutlery, and a shattered plate. Jack uses mending to repair the plate and takes the whole cache into his bag of holding, careful to wrap the fork and knife in cloth first. The pilgrims camped on the beach that night, using the upturned boat as partial cover from the wind, and Jack's faithful hound spell allowed them to sleep easily. In the morning, Jack notices one of the hounds has blood on his muzzle. The snout appears to float in mid-air since the dog is invisible, but the pilgrims soon find the trail of blood leading back into the mountain pass. Kator finds a trail of tracks leading towards the beach and another trail of the same size and shape leading back into the mountains with drops of blood. They follow the trail past the dead giant and through some grassy areas. Lionus points and asks questions as they pass trees and bushes for the first time in his life. In mid-afternoon, the trail ends at the front gates of another village, which are built out of a giant's skull. The gaps in the teeth act as spy holes for the guards to watch as the pilgrims approach and announce their presence. Kator attempts to speak to the guards in giant tongue, but the translation to their language is not perfect. For a moment they question if he is a baby giant, but then Jack casts comprehend languages on the pilgrims and the main guard. The guards seem keen on taking the boy and protecting him, but are hesitant to allow the adventurers into the town. They ask how the boy came to be in the care of the pilgrims and are shocked to hear the story. To them, a village eating only meat and drinking only blood is strange. Even stranger that the village would abandon a child. When Linus explains that Kator healed his broken legs, the guards whisper excitedly and ask if the adventurers are priests. Not able to communicate through the culture barrier, the guards decide to let the strangers in so they can talk to the chief. Inside the walls of the town, there are children and youths running and playing, wearing woven grass tunics. Some of the youths walk through the streets carrying things and taking instructions from their elders. The adults wear red leather, similar to the people of Lionus's village, but these are cleaned, waxed, and carved with symbols and inscriptions. Yet still, not a shoe to be seen. There is no blood well and no meat pile. The guards say,
"The blood of our gods is for purification, not sustenance,"
and assure the pilgrims that the chief can explain more in a few hours, and they are free to roam the town before then. They travel to the marketplace, which seems fairly busy, filled with people selling bone needles, bone cutlery, and bone weapons. Kator finds the Fletcher and commissions some arrows be made with iron arrowheads, which he had purchased in 4 corners and was keeping in a bag for when he needed them. Jack tries to sell the fancy dish set, but the vendor tells them that it is sacred material and must be given to the chief. It is a type of rock that only priests can harvest by singing it out of the mountains. Mindful not to overstay their welcome, the pilgrims head to the main hall to meet the chief. He is a friendly man and explains that in their village, It is a rite of passage to adulthood to venture outside the walls, surviving on only the flesh and blood of the gods for a whole 3 days while searching for the gods. Those that have not completed this ritual are not permitted to wear the red leather. When he describes the gods, it is clear to the pilgrims that he is describing giants. Jack hesitantly speaks up and tells of the giant corpse they passed on the way here and shows the fancy cutlery and dishes to the chief. Cater hands over the paper that they found with it, which the chief explains is a writ of sale. He was the one who bought these dishes and they were being delivered to him.
Now I won't even have to pay for them. This is very good news indeed.
During the conversation, it becomes clear that the village values children highly. The chief explains that sometimes men from underground come and steal children.
They are sneaky. They can get in even through the smallest crack in the door. We protect the children as best we can, but we can't save them all.
The pilgrims ask about how he became chief, and he explains that anyone who actually finds the gods on their ritual journey and speaks to the king of the gods is entitled to become chief when he returns to the village. The previous chief still lives in the village and gave up the command willingly to pursue a more relaxed life in his old age.
Many who go looking die, so it is a rare accomplishment to actually speak to the king of the gods.
The chief tells them of a great battle that happened long ago where gods fought and died and left their corpses for the people to use. He taps his feet on the ground, which is grey and metallic.
Our main hall is built upon the head of an axe once wielded by the gods. Normally, only priests can do things with their minds like you seem to be able to do. Healing broken bones in an instant, or translating languages you've never learned. These are things that most people cannot do. I think young Lionus would make a good priest. He has eaten and drank of the flesh of the gods for much longer than our rituals demand. By now, he must be flowing with their power, and only needs to be trained how to use it.
Cater looks at the boy, then back to the chief.
Is it normal for children to be given to the priesthood and trained away from their parents?
Our students are normally older, but yes, the priestly training does involve some separation.
Then he shall stay here, and you will keep him safe.
No!
Shouts Lionus, tears welling in his eyes.
Perhaps you should speak with the boy before finalizing your decision.
Offers the chief. As Cater tries to calm the boy, Jack speaks to the chief about a map. The pilgrims head towards the mapmaker building, with Lionus remaining sullen and silent. The walls of the mapmaker's building are covered in maps of the village, maps of the immediate area, and one large map that seems to cover greater distances. He explains that he is making a map that covers far beyond what any other map has ever covered, and it has taken him months to get this far. Jack offers some money and asks if a zoomed-out map in a portable size could be ready for them. The mapmaker says he will have to pause his work on the grand map, but he could get this request done in a day. When Jack hands over some gold to pay, the chief and the mapmaker look curiously at the face on the coin. King Mr. E. Man of Dulathanorian. Cater and Jack together explain that a king is like a chief of chiefs, ruling over many villages and having lesser chiefs work for him. His face is printed on the coin to tell people where the coin came from. The pilgrims are shown some local coins, which have designs on them, but not faces or depictions of people. The chief offers them a place to stay for the night, and they head over to a private house. Jack casts faithful hounds and instructs them to make noise and wake up the adventurers if they see or smell anything, instead of attacking. Cater finds Lionus in a bedroom under the covers and takes a seat beside him.
Where we are going is dangerous, Lionus. I cannot take you with me.
The boy shifts but gives no reply.
Do you know what danger means? Danger is when I'm not strong enough to protect you.
You don't want me anymore.
Pouts Lionus.
I want you to be safe.
I can be safe with you.
I'm not strong enough to protect you where we are going.
No, you're the strongest. It's always safe with you.
I wish that were true, but I've lost too many friends to believe that. People I tried to protect, but now they are dead. Forever.
I could die.
The boy whimpers.
I want you to stay alive, grow up big and strong, be the best priest this town has ever seen, and train so you can beat me in a sharpshooting contest when I come back.
You'll come back?
Yes, once the danger is gone, I'll come back. I want you to be here when I do. I want you to help these people, protect them, and let them protect you. Be strong, be respectful, and be kind. The priests will teach you how to do magic, and the guards will teach you how to shoot a bow. You will need to practice, and you will need to discipline yourself, just like watch duty with Salenfi. Be a good boy and become a better man.
The boy cries.
I'll be a good boy, and the priests will like me and not want to throw me away. I'll be strong like you one day.
Tears roll down his cheeks as he promises to train and work hard. Cator hugs the boy and then sits at the end of the bed to meditate for the night. A chill runs through the air, unnatural cold seeps under the doorway and blows past the windows. The pilgrims wake up on full alert, search the house and surrounding area, but find nothing. Silentfee decides to spend the rest of the night on the roof, even with the faithful hounds. In the morning, Jack berates the dogs for not making noise and not alerting them.
I know you can see invisible things. You have to tell us when you see creatures approaching. Bad dogs. Do better next time.
Over the course of the day, Jack goes around trying to organize better defenses against whatever is stealing children. Cator picks up the iron-tipped arrows from the Fletcher, gets some remarks about the coins with faces on them, then finds the captain of the guard.
40 arrows made with metal arrowheads. These will serve you well to protect the village.
The captain is confused at first, then shoots an arrow into a tree and is astonished when he can pull it out completely intact.
Your best archers can use those to fight off intruders. I don't ask any payment, but I do ask that when Lionus is ready for archery training, you find a suitable trainer for him.
Jack picks up the map from the mapmaker just before dinner, and the pilgrims meet up with the chief and some priests to hand off Lionus. The boy is given a small sack of gold, and the chief is given a much larger sack of gold, for safekeeping until the boy is older. The priests take Lionus by the hand and lead him to the far edge of the village, to their sacred halls. Jack feels the tug of a mystery and brings up his concerns to the group. They discuss what the underground men or shadows or ghosts might be, and verify with the chief that the most recent child abduction was 3 years ago. Jack and Cator speculate about likely it would be for Lionus to be abducted, before reaching the conclusion that as long as the boy is with the priesthood and sleeps in the communal halls, and as long as the town has funding and manpower for night-long guards on the communal halls, then he is safe. Cator promises that if this timeline still exists after they defeat Temorglum, they will come back to help. Jack relaxes and agrees, although it pains him to leave the boy with strangers. As their last task before leaving, they ask the chief what direction he went and what path he took when he found the king of the giants. He shows them up to the edge of the map and says,
After 3 days of consuming only the flesh of the gods, I was pretty delirious. You might want to take some other rations.
Is there any ritual we should do, or timing for when to imbibe the flesh of the gods?
Cator asks clumsily.
Our rituals take years to learn and practice. You shouldn't worry about that now,
Says the chief.
Thank you for your guidance.
And with that, the pilgrims left the town hall and went out of the village.